They walk in that room, they become yours. And you got this energy inside your soul that says, I am the number one determinant of the success or failure of my students. Hey, y'all, when you get back, kick some butt. I'll see you in the winner's circle celebrating your victory. Let's go. 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 Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you, everybody.
And we are live. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to week 209 of the AP and New Principals Academy. Let me see who we got here this morning. We got always first. We got Mona Obamolak is checking in from Orlando, Florida. And as always, she says greetings to not only myself, but to the queen, my wife, Kimberly Broughton Kafele. We got AP Patrick Lawrence in the building out there in Connecticut. Takesha Highs in Virginia. Grace Castaneda is in Leander, Texas. Arlette Johnson. If you didn't see my interview with her a few weeks ago, make sure you check it out. The Connecticut 2023 AP of the Year. She's in the building. AP Patrick Lawrence is in the building. Ricardo Yanis, my man out there in Texas. Rodney Richardson down in Hampton, Virginia. Constance Sherrod in Mississippi. Tashika Truesdale is in Atlanta. Dr. Rachel Edoeket is in the building here in Maryland. That's where I am. Dr. Rella Hicks is down in Augusta, Georgia. We got MPA Jaguars. My man, Josh Tovar, is in the building. Buenos dias, my brother. We got Dr. Sheikah Houston in the building. Man, I spent some time with Dr. Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor, Chester County Schools this week for 2 days, man. Woo! We had a great time with the folks, man. I was blessed. I was blessed. We got Demetrius Scott, who's Dr. Demetrius Scott, but he ain't just Dr. Demetrius Scott. He is now Principal Dr. Demetrius Scott. He got that appointment, y'all. Give him a big round of applause. Fam in the building. Fam that's on the line right now. You know this brother. You know he's been with us since day one. Give him some love in the comments. He's now Principal. I don't have the school name in front of me, but that don't matter. He's Principal, right? Principal Dr. Demetrius Scott down there in Alabama. Give him some love in these comments, y'all, man. We gotta lift the family up. We gotta lift each other up as we do this work. We got Sherrod Laws down in Greenville, North Carolina. My man Otis Kitchen is in the building. That's Principal Otis Kitchen II. We got Siobhan Taylor. Cincinnati is in the building. Michael Benton, he's also in Cincinnati. Good morning to you, good brother. Ronald Pugh is in the building. Cedar Hill, Texas. I see you. I see you. MPA Jaguar said greetings from Garland. We got Brandy Prince Wills in the building down in Newport News. Man, I ain't been in Newport News in a minute, man. When y'all gonna get me back down there, man? It's been a little while. Where we at? Portia Ojigbo is down there. I'm saying down there in DC. I'm like right here in DC. I'm in Maryland, but I'm in Bowie, but I'm right by DC. I gotta go back to the airport in DC later on today. James Wilburn is in the building, Denton, Texas. Lysandra Brackens, North Carolina. Rashad Davis is in the 702. Las Vegas checking in. He said by way of San Diego, California this time, though. We got Haley Elaine Couch. That's my milking sister. She's out. She's over in Oklahoma. We got Jacqueline Harriet up there in Nova Scotia. Man, I'm spending so much time in Canada, Jacqueline. You know, we had a good time in Toronto the other day too, man. And your name came up, you all that, you're the superstar. So, people are going to talk about you, no matter what part of Canada I'm in. Sean Hurt is in the building. Sean Hurt's got the new book. I don't have it in front of me, but go to his Facebook page or go to his website. I can't remember that name, schoolturnaroundprinciple.com or something like that, right? But just Google Sean Hurt, and his new book is for parents. He co-wrote it with his wife, and go to his page, and he's got ads on his page to tell you how to get it. So that's Sean Hurt, Principal Hurt, threw down this morning along with also Dr. Sheikah Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor. But then 10 o'clock, he threw down and he talked about that new book. Y'all want to get that in your hands for sure. Fam, support the fam, because you know we the Super Saturdays with Sean at 10 o'clock, Tammy, Dr. Houston and Dr. Taylor at 10:30, myself at 10:55, you know, Super Saturday. And then when Josh is back online, we go back to Fantastic Four. Lou Saunders, my man, the homie, is in the building. Melissa Jones Chunu is in the building. Tulsa. Scott Wiley, Chester, VA. I see you. Vanessa Zeskin, I see you. Connecticut. September, Devon Vance Daniels. I think you in Jersey, right? Good to see you. Ease, White, Ease. Yeah, I think it might be Easy. I'm not sure. White, good morning to you. Casey Washington. I'm getting ready to cut it. I'm getting ready to shut it down, y'all. Hortensia Hernandez is in the building. Let me see if I can find some Jersey love in here. Coach Central, I see you. I see the Jersey homie. I see Edwin Garcia is in the building out there in Passaic. So I'm going to stop it right there because that's the Jersey homie. No, I can't stop it, man. I see Yolanda McKinney. I can't stop it because Yolanda is one of the longtime fam in the building. She said on fire, let's go. She's out there in Little Rock, Arkansas. So now let me find it. Any more Jersey, homie? Where y'all at, Jersey, man? Where you at? Oh, I got the queen, the wife, man. Jersey. You know she Jersey. Kimberly Barton Kafele in the building. The queen, not of this castle, right? I'm at the Hampton Inn. This ain't she ain't the queen here because I ain't the king here. But I'll tell you this, I'm the king of this room. You better recognize I'm the king of this room, right? But she ain't the queen of this room because she ain't in here, right? Ain't got no queen. It's just king, right? So let's go, y'all. I'm gonna end it right there, man. So let me say to everybody formally, y'all know I'm not gonna get too loud, right? Because you know I'm in the hotel, so I can't be screaming and yelling, and I can hear housekeeping out there, right? But so we're gonna keep it mellow this morning. So I'm gonna say to you, good. Oh, that sounds horrible. I gotta do a little bit yelling. I need some water too. All right, edit that out. Let's start that again. Good morning. Woo! Greetings. Welcome to week 209. You hear me? 209 of the AP and New Principals Academy. Listen, man. Yesterday I did this keynote at the Ohio Alliance of Black School Educators. That's the Ohio affiliate of the National Alliance of Black School Educators. Let me tell y'all something, man. You know, the audience, you know, it's a black audience. I'm going to keep it real. It's a black audience, Ohio Alliance of Black School Educators. So, you know, so it's a black audience. So the culture is going to be a little bit different from a lot of my other audiences. Like it was lively in that piece, right? So I had to bring a little extra flames with me. Y'all know when I close, I am. Man, I brought that thing from down here, man. And then when I finished, I said, I'm going to give them another round of it, man. I brought that thing. Y'all can't see my hands. I brought that from down here, man. Of my students, man. They got up on their feet, man. So I'm not going to bring that kind of fire to you right now. I'm just going to tell you I'm on fire, and we're going to keep it right there because I can't have these people in here knocking on this door, man. Like, you all right, sir? Is there a fire in the room? So we're going to keep it right there. But I hope y'all got them flames, man. I hope y'all got them flames. Somebody said to me when I did that, it wasn't in Ohio, it was somewhere else. They say, you sure you should be putting that kind of energy in that clothes? Because I'm familiar with your health issues. Like, you had that heart attack. Is it okay that you exude that much energy in that closing? I said, hey man, I'm good, man. I'm good. It's just a short closing, but I just gotta end it right. So you look, y'all. I'm at this hotel. I'm at the Hampton Inn, right? I hate the Hampton, but I had to stay here. They got 2 copiers and none of them work, and they have no business center. So I always print when I'm in the hotel my agenda. So I gotta use the phone, man. All right, so here we go. Let me do this quick because we gotta end short today because I got to do a keynote at Bowie State University at 1 o'clock, and I got to drive like 15 minutes. So you know I'm not going to 2 o'clock today. So let me say this to you. Shout out to Chester County Schools in Chester, South Carolina, where Dr. Sheikah Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor are both leaders there. I was there speaking to the parents and community mentors I was speaking to the APs, the principals, the superintendent was in the room. Man, we just had a great time, man. It was just a great time. So shout out to just everybody in Chester, but certainly my sisters, my Super Saturday sisters, Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor, man. Their influence in me being there. We just had a great time, man. And then went on to Toronto. Shout out, I think that was the sequence, right? Went on to Toronto, the Canadian Association of Principals, man. Shout out to them. My man Dean McInnes, who brought me out there. Another great time. So shout out to them, all my Canadian fam. We had AP New Principals Academy fam up there in Toronto, man. We took a pic and all that. And so shout out to all of them. And then shout out to the Ohio Alliance of Black School Educators yesterday. Oh my God, man, my man Tanda. We just, who's the president, Bantu, we just had a great time, man. The breakout session, man, standing room only, man, and we just talked about what is my value to the teachers that I supervise instructionally, right? And just had a great time. So I know some of y'all probably sneaking Dr. Sutton, Dr. Graham. I got to mention your names up there in Chester, down there in Chester. Shout out to you. But yeah, yesterday, just shout out. I know some of y'all probably like on the sneak tip, you in a breakout session, but you listening, right? So however that's working. But just shout out to you. We had a great day. Let's keep it moving, y'all. I'm not liking what my phone is doing right now, but we're gonna get through this. Welcome to the first timers. And if this is in fact your first time, don't let it be your last time. And I just see a name on here. I don't do this often, but I gotta do it right now. I see LaRue Fitch has checked in. So I gotta shout him out. This is one of my brothers, right? One of my Black Educators Rock brothers. He defended his dissertation yesterday. So he's now Dr. LaRue Fitch, young brother, man. He's out in Chicago doing his thing, teacher, then principal. Then he decided to go back to the classroom, and now he's back in administration. So he's doing his thing, but he's now Dr. LaRue Fitch. So a good brother, LaRue Fitch, congratulations to you publicly now on that doctorate. So y'all give my brother some love. He was a guest on here like about 2 years ago. So give him some love, man. Dr. Fitch is in the building. And that's who he is now, Dr. Fitch. Hey Doc, you used to that yet? Dr. Fitch, man. Doing your thing, man. That's good stuff. Good stuff, man. This phone gonna mess with me today because I can't get it to stay on. I got to keep putting in my code, man. It's not doing facial recognition and all that, and the settings ain't working the way I want them to. So shout out to all that. Let's go. Real quick, join me at the School Leadership Institute. Oh, by the way, the first timers, go to the AP and New Principals Academy YouTube channel, and binge watch the 208 sessions you missed. You're going to see a lot of familiar names as far as the guests. Just binge watch all that. Check us out. We've been doing this. The 4th anniversary is next Saturday. I'm going solo next Saturday. The 4th anniversary, 210 consecutive Saturdays, no breaks, no days off, just 210 consecutive Saturdays. I'm going solo for the 4th anniversary. I'm bringing not only fire, I'm bringing heat. I'm bringing flames. I'm bringing excitement, but I'm bringing information. So you don't want to miss that 4th anniversary, man. I'm going off. I'm going buck wild. So you want to make sure that you with me next Saturday. I don't care how long I go on, man. Y'all could all leave. I'm gonna still be on here, man. But we going solo next Saturday. School Leadership Institute with Principal Kafele, July 9 and 10 in Houston. Go to principalkafele.com, scroll down to the announcements, click the button, register. I see you in Houston. 2 days of leadership, July 9 and 10. It's just me and you in the building. Black Educators Rock Conference, July 18 through 21. Join us in Houston again. So you go home, then come on back to Houston, right? If you're in Houston, then you just drive on to the venue, and we'll be there for the 18th through the 21st. And then, of course, I do the leadership summit on the final day, the 21st, all day long. We just talk leadership. I didn't bring any books with me that I wrote, but you know my books, particularly the Assistant Principal 50, the Aspiring Principal 50, the Assistant Principal Identity, the Principal 50, and Is My School a Better School Because I Lead It? If you don't have those, go to Amazon and get them, or you can go to principalcafele.com and it'll link you to Amazon or ASCD, which is my publisher. And then be sure to like and follow the AP and New Principals Academy Facebook page. I wrote an essay last week. How about that? Right? Wrote an essay last week, and take a look if you didn't see it. Right? Take a look. All right, y'all, let me do my monologue real quick. My monologue is called Stay Calm. Right? Let me hit you with that one more time. Stay calm. That's my monologue topic. I'm gonna keep it short because I got my guests waiting in the wings. When I say stay calm, I was on a plane the other day, and some of you saw it on Facebook and Twitter and all that, Instagram. I was on a plane, and it was a quick flight from Toronto to Washington, D.C. Then I connect in D.C., catch a flight to Columbus, Ohio, so that I could speak at the Ohio Alliance of Black School Educators Conference yesterday. But right when we got in the sky, like we weren't 10,000 feet or anything like that, we get up and the pilot comes on, the captain. As soon as I heard the intercom, I said, "No, this is going to be trouble. It's going to be a long night." He said, "Ladies and gentlemen, the landing gear won't go up. So we have to make an emergency landing in Buffalo, New York." Buffalo. Ain't no connections in Buffalo. So we land in Buffalo. I'm thinking I'm going to get off, figure it out. Then he says, "Well, we're coming from Toronto. It's an international flight. So Buffalo doesn't have any customs agents, any border patrol agents." So in my mind, I said, stay calm. I got to do a keynote. I'm looking forward to this thing, man. Ohio Alliance of Black School Educators. And I've been a member of the National Alliance of Black School Educators since like 1996 or something like that. I'm excited about this. I said to myself, stay calm. Stay calm. So now we on the plane. It's like an hour. We still on. They said, "We got to get agents. We can't let you off the plane. We got to get border customs agents on to clear you all to get off the plane." It's almost 2 hours. I said, stay calm. And then I looked around the plane because I was sitting like right behind first class. I said, ain't nobody like upset. No one panicking. Like they calm. Why? Like where's the hostility, right? So I said, okay, stay calm. So then I went to the flight attendant. I said, "Look, when I get off this plane," because they said everybody got to go to the gate agent. I'm not going to no gate agent. I'm going to get me a car. So I got on my phone. She said, "No, you can do that." So I got my phone out, got a car secured. I drove. I started driving at about 10:30 that night. The drive is 5 hours. If you don't stop, I stopped. So I drove about 6 hours. I was already sleep deprived. I got here to not this hotel, but the other one. And I got 3 hours of sleep because I didn't have to speak till 8:45. And I brought them flames. Here's my point, y'all. When that adversity hits on your jobs, in your leadership capacities, and I don't have to preach the sermon about the adversity. You are dealing with adversity every day. In fact, let me put it this way. Every freaking day, there's adversity that comes your way. You have to deal with that adversity. You have to address that adversity. But I'm saying to you, in the process, stay calm. Because if you get excited, that's not going to change it. You get excited, the adversity is still in front of you. It's just that now you got the adversity in front of you, but you all have to, oh my God, No, that ain't going to change the situation. It might make it worse. Bring it down. Stay calm. Stay level-headed. I could have been all panicky. Oh my God, the conference planners, they're gonna be nervous. Blah, 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 blah. Especially since I put it on Facebook. Blah, blah, blah. Now stay calm, because you've been in this. You've done this before. You've been in worse situations. You've driven places 10 hours. You've driven places 12 hours. You've driven places where there was no opportunity to go take a shower, no opportunity to change your suits. Hey, watch this, y'all. My wife gonna kill me for saying this. To change your underwear, right? So those opportunities weren't there. You showing up funky, man. Right? You wearing what you had on yesterday, man. I mean, let's keep it real. Same underwear, man. So same sweat, like y'all know I sweat, man. So like, I ain't smelling like, I don't wear colognes. I can't name none, right? I wish I could. Old school, Yves Saint Laurent. Anybody wear that anymore? Right? Like I don't wear cologne, right? I don't know what's hip out here, man. Right? I just do soap and water, right? So I'm telling you, that's That's where it's at. Does anyone wear Yves Saint Laurent anymore? Like, is that still manufactured? Right. So my wife said, no, I can't name Calvin Klein. I don't know, man. That ain't my thing. When I walk past people, they ain't saying Cafele smells sweet, man. They're not doing that because that's not how I get down. But they can at least say Cafele got the serious message, right? That's what they say for me. They don't say Cafele smell good. Nah, man. Let me stop, man, if I get in trouble. All right, y'all. I got a guest on today, man. Y'all, I'm acting silly. I'm sleep deprived, man. When you sleep deprived, you say anything. Let me change this here. I got my guest on here, but my screen is looking whack. So let me fix that right quick. And here we go. Good morning to you. I want to say Dr. Perry, because that's how I think of you. But good morning to my sister Perry. Good to see you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on this morning.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Let's jump right in it. I want to share. Hey, y'all, check this bio out, man. This is a little bit different from you know, we hear everybody, we're diverse with who we have, but the first line, it says provost and vice president of Miles College and HBCU in Fairfield, Alabama. I got the vice president, the provost, man, in the building at the AP and New Principals Academy on week 209. You better hit that share button. You better hit that retweet button. You better hit that repost button. You better tag somebody. You better hit them Facebook leadership groups and let them know we got the provost at Miles College HBCU in Fairfield, Alabama. It says is a tireless advocate for students and educators who are often denied a voice. He works with and for educators, students, and communities to develop programs and initiatives that uplift historically marginalized peoples. In addition, she has advocated for others on numerous committees, including as a member of the National Council for Teachers of English, Executive Committee, NCTE, National Council of Teachers of English, Research Foundation trustee, member of the NCTE Inclusivity Task Force, National Council of Teachers of English Assembly for Research, chairperson, National Council of Teachers of Education, educational editorial board member, and director of NCTE's Cultivating New Voices Among Scholars of Color program. She's currently the National Council of Teachers of English president-elect and serves on the National Writing Program Projects Board of Directors. Somebody said to me yesterday, literally less than 24 hours ago, they said to me, I'm going to the National Council of Teachers of English conference. I think they said this summer. I said, oh, really? I said, well, I'm going to have the president-elect on the platform tomorrow morning, so you might want to tune in, right? So here we go. She is currently, I skipped a line. Where we at? No, I didn't. She's currently is NCTE's president-elect, and so yeah, that's where we are. Perry has also served the nation as a 2000 National Teacher of the Year finalist and a two-time National Board Certified Teacher. So although I said provost, although I said vice president, we talking about somebody who's been in the front lines in these classrooms as well, right? She worked as a middle school teacher, teacher educator, full professor, executive director, and principal investigator for a large Gear Up grant, director of the Red Mountain Writing Project, and both interim department chair and executive director for outreach and engagement for a school of education. Her co-authored book, Teaching for Racial Equity, Becoming Interrupters, published in 2022, is a collaborative work with two teacher educators, Stephen Zemmelman, I hope I did that right, and Katie Smith, and other brilliant teachers, teacher writers, and student writers. So with that said, I want to put this book up right now. And it's called Teaching for Racial Equity, Becoming Interrupters. And then the names, Tonya B. Perry, and the other two authors, they're right here. Right here on the cover. But I want to say this. I told Ms. Perry I was going to say this. This book is a masterpiece. And I've had it for a while. It's been kind of sitting on my table. You all, when you see when I'm at home and I got some books sitting on the corner of the screen, this has been sitting there with them. And this is a masterpiece. I just met Miss Perry. I'm gonna call you Sister Perry. I don't like Miss. I'm gonna call you Sister Perry. I just met Sister Perry in terms of face to face a few minutes ago, but we've met online. But I told her this is a masterpiece. You might want to purchase this. If you got another device next to you, go to Amazon and get this right now. This it's a little thick, but it's easy to read, man. It's easy to read. You gotta have this book, man. I don't care who you are, your race, anything. You gotta have this book. Get this book in your possession. But we're gonna talk about it. So let's my phone, man. When you start talking, I'm gonna get my phone working right. So here we go. I want to go back a little bit, Sister Perry. You were once a middle school teacher, and thinking about what you do right now, HBCU, provost, vice president, the writing, all the organization, NCTE, president-elect, all that. I'm not going to ask you if you envision the specificity of what you do, but I want to ask you this. Did you envision yourself, and this is like one of my motivational questions, did you envision yourself doing the big things, whatever that may have looked like, when you were a teacher in the middle school? In other words, did you have the ability to see yourself doing big things, impacting not only a country, but the world?
Oh, Brother Kafele, thanks for having me today. And that's a really big question. So I'm going to do my best to answer it. Let me tell you, being a middle school teacher prepared me for probably everything that I'm doing right now. You know, being a middle school teacher taught me how to be adaptive, taught me how to be engaging with students that sometimes didn't always want to be there, or I had to figure out how to help them see themselves be there and show up. Being a middle school teacher also taught me how to make things relatable. And it also taught me how to work with my colleagues, bring the best out of other folks, and taught me a lot about leadership. You know, how do you manage in leadership when you might not have all the power? What does that look like? And then even if you do have the power and you have the title, fear in leadership is one thing, but how do you lead and not have that power, but still be able to get things done?
Mm-hmm.
That's really what was important. And can I see myself? I think my leadership style is that I actually have a kind of this upside down kind of leadership. So it's really about, what do I need to do in order to serve, right? So I don't necessarily see myself as up as much as my students are up, and I'm kind of at the bottom, and I'm trying to serve, trying to get and build them up, as well as the people I work with. So when I was in middle school, it was some of the best training ever to do what I do now. There was nothing like being a middle school teacher and being able to impact those students. But I have to give it a shout out to the middle school teachers. You know, one day they'll come in and they love you, and 2 days later they're like, they don't know who you are. But it's a part of being in the middle school and being able to come in 5th, 6th grade like a child and leave in end of 8th grade going into adulthood or young adulthood. Taught you a lot about how to be a leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one of my fam from the academy here, just she referred to you as Provost Perry. And I've never met a provost. I've never had to address a provost. So now I know what to call you. So I'll call you Provost Perry, right?
I think you should call me Sister Perry.
You okay? Then that's, I'm more comfortable there. There you go. So Sister Perry, you know, let's stay at the middle school for a minute. You were a National Teacher of the Year finalist. That means that your students were achieving at high levels, because they're not going to recognize you if you're not taking care of business in the classroom. What was it about, and I know you could probably go 24 hours on this, so I'm just going to ask you for the short answer. What was it about who, as the students would call you, Miss Perry, what was it about Sister Perry as a middle school teacher that you would be recognized on such a large stage as a finalist of Teacher of the Year nationally?
So I got to give a shout out to my school in North Carolina, um, in Hillsborough, North Carolina, and that was Sanford Junior High. I've got to give a Stanford Junior High. I got to give a shout out to Birmingham City Schools, where
Mm,
my school was Arrington Middle School, and a shout out to Hoover City Schools, where my school was Berry Middle School. And in all those places, I had an opportunity to work with some amazing colleagues. So I want to first say that I don't think I was the best. I think I represented the best,
mm,
right? The
yeah.
best of who we are. Um, I just happen to have a platform to be able to tell the stories of all the places I've been. And all those three places, Brother Kafele, were rural, urban, and suburban. And
Mm,
I had an opportunity to teach at all three with amazing leaders. Uh, my sister Carolyn Walker asked me this about 20 years ago. She says, "Tell me about this platform and what you do that makes it special." And she had me thinking about it, because at first I was thinking I just go in every day and just do my thing, and
mm,
that's just kind of what I do. But this made me realize this is something that I really had to think clearly about. And one thing about my teaching, Brother Kafele, is that I always try to make learning relevant for students.
ooh,
It's so important that no matter the age, that they can also think about how to transform what they learn into something that they can use.
I
So
want to go ahead. No, go ahead.
one of the things that I have always done, and I've got to give a shout out to Mary Wires, who was my teaching partner at one of the schools. We came up with this idea of social justice projects for students, and each student could choose a project. So I had 150, had sometimes 175 individual projects. So this is during the time of the Teacher of the Year program, but students could choose what they wanted to do to impact their world. They could come up with, what is it that if I did this thing, I would make the world a little better. Um, and that all started probably when I first started teaching, and realizing that just because you could read something didn't necessarily make it important to you, but what could you do to make it important to the students, or help them see the relevance or importance of what you do? And I'm an English teacher, and you can sometimes get wrapped up as an English teacher, and what you like may not be what the students like, or they're not able to find value or relevance in it.
Yeah.
But what happens when you create something, a kind of curriculum where students actually can see themselves? So some of the projects that the students came up with were things that they cared about. I had a student who came up with a project about they're everywhere. I had students who were concerned about health issues. So I had a student who cared about childhood diseases like leukemia. So she researched it, wrote her research paper on it, and then she had to go out into the community. And what she did was raise money for stuffed animals. And she took the stuffed animals to the hospital and was able to give those out with the nurses.
Mm,
That's what I'm talking about. But it wasn't devoid of research. It wasn't devoid of reading. It wasn't devoid of interest. They got all the skills that they needed to be successful at whatever test they had to take, but they cared about what they did, right? Cared about what they did. Um, Another one that I remember, it was at the time of AIDS just emerging into the scene for even our students to better understand. So one of our young ladies read a book, and she said, "Well, what do we do about this and people who have AIDS?" And so she was 13, so there was not much she could do from a health standpoint. But what she actually did is she went to one of the shelters that had a lot of donations, and they need students to help put the donations together. So she would match shoes and hang up shirts, so that when people who had HIV/AIDS came in, they could actually go shopping. See, she read about it, she understood it, she researched it, she had the science behind it, she did everything she was supposed to do to get those skills. Then I had a form that they had to go do something about in the community, and she brought it back. Can you imagine what the power is in a student, or of a student who can actually impact their own curriculum? And that's what we want. Students have a right to participate in the world. We shouldn't keep them separate from the world. They're participants. They're going to grow up. What are we going to do at 18? Just introduce them to the world?
yeah, that's right. Yesterday here, well, no, I keep saying here, I'm not there anymore, but in Ohio, at the Ohio Alliance of Black School Educators Conference, I preached that sermon that how are we as educators, why would we expect that young people being confronted with curriculum and instruction where they do not see themselves in the learning. Like where is the application of this thing you're giving me every day that I'm supposed to embrace, but I don't see its application to my life. I don't see its application to my world outside of school after the dismissal bell rings. So as educator, as teacher, and subsequently as principal, I had to make sure that when those babies are sitting in that classroom, they see themselves. The people that tune into this every Saturday, they're only here because they see themselves in the content. And if I don't see me in this, I don't need Kafele. I'll go somewhere else. There's a zillion things on the internet and outside of the internet. But because I see me in this content, I'll report back. So my question to you said it, but I just want to go deeper with it. What are your feelings about young people? And I want to be specific on this. Black children. What is your feeling about Black children being in classrooms where teaching and learning is culturally irrelevant?
Oh, Principal Kafele, and I'm going to call you Brother Kafele.
Yeah.
Is that all right with you?
That's
I've done it already 5 times.
That's perfect.
So I think it's a disservice. You know, when we think about the book Teaching for Racial Equity, we're talking about not seeing students just as a complete lump, right? But looking at them as individuals and what is it that they need to be successful. As a provost at Mouse College, I'm in charge of all academics. And one thing that I work with professors and our faculty and staff with is, you know what? How do we make this learning relevant? It is our job to make learning come alive. It is our job for students to be able to see themselves as individuals. And what is it that we need to bring to the table? What is it that we need to bring to this conversation that makes this possible? See, if we don't do that work, then students have this dissonance with the world and its relevance and where they sit. I wrote this piece in the Theory into Practice in Ohio State many years ago, but it says this: you take a kid's or a student's hidden literacy, the thing that they use to understand the world, right? It could be cooking, it could be sewing, it could be skateboarding, it could be playing football, whatever that thing is. Then it's our responsibility to take that hidden literacy to make it something academic. What can I take what the student already possesses? It could be multiple languages. It could be a love for mathematics. What do I do to make that something academic in my classroom? And then after I teach those basic skills, what do I do with those skills to make their learning, academic learning, something transformative? That's when it leaves our classroom and goes beyond our classroom. So it transforms their world, their community, or something else that they can touch. And I believe that wholeheartedly. I really do. I believe that transformative learning and helping students use all of these things to transform their world is really what we need. And I think that makes it culturally relevant. If you have a student who loves music, if you have a student who plays an instrument, if you have a student who can sing, if you have a student who can dance, if you have a student who loves to read, take that academically, turn it and help them understand those basic skills. Take it piece by piece. Then take that academic language and have them do something transformative with it. Put it all together for that student so they can take what they love and understand, stretch it. And then after you stretch it, have them grow it. Have them grow it into something that they can even make a living doing. They can change the community doing, but it's really important. See, most of the time as educators, we'll stop at the academic language. What we'll do is we'll give a test and we're done. The problem is that there is no actual use of it beyond the academic realm. But a student who writes for the teacher writes in one way, but a student who writes beyond the teacher really cares even a little bit more about that assignment. And how do we get that writing, for example, out into the world? We can transform input, make something better for the world. What does that look like? See, the audience doesn't have to stop just at the school or just with that one teacher or just that one peer. Their writing can go and live beyond. And that's what I believe. And that's what I believe also as a provost at Mouse College. that the learning should go beyond. And we shouldn't wait until they're seniors. We shouldn't wait until the end of the year. This transformative kind of learning and curriculum should happen all the time. It's not easy, but let me ask you this. You get to the end of the year and you do something that's relevant, you've lost them. They've already had 7 months of not seeing how the curriculum is related. So when you wait to the end of the year to do something that's relevant, then you've lost a lot of children along the way.
Yeah.
That transformative learning should be recursive all throughout the year. I know it's hard work, but it's also hard work at the end when you've lost them to get them back.
Yeah. You teaching right now. You know, I'm reflecting on myself as you speak. Your background is English, and we're going to get into that as well. And I think about, you know, a lot of people. I'm getting ready to write my 15th manuscript Monday, and a lot of people will ask me, like, where are you coming up with all this, right? Because I don't call myself a writer at all. I'm a practitioner. I'm not a scholar. I'm not a researcher. I'm a practitioner who has the audacity to express himself through writing, right? So it's going to come out however it comes out. But I just have the courage to do it. But my point I'm making in terms of what you just said is that when I get caught up, like sometimes I ask myself, where is it coming from? But once I get started in the writing process, and I always outline months before I start writing. So the skeleton is there. The template's there. Now it's just fill in the blanks. So it's like now my creative juices just start flowing. And I'm like, man, where is this coming from? But yet I understand where it's coming from. And I think that sometimes with young people, we stifle that, right? See, I don't have anybody overseeing me, which is including a publisher, right? It's just me. This is what you're going to get. You can't change it. It's got to go out that way, right? So speak to us. Let's just go further with that. About the ability of a student to be in a classroom in an English setting and to be able to freely express who I am as that young writer emerging as this bigger writer one day, perhaps. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. So let me just say that I believe writing can occur in all classrooms. I think you can write in across all disciplines. I think there's something about being able to talk the language of a discipline and be able to express yourself. I'm going to speak primarily right now as an English teacher, and I want to give a shout out to the National Writing Project. Being able to have that freedom to teach writing and work with young writers and appreciate them is so amazing. So we've got so much to work on. It used to be that, you know, Brother Kafele, when people said, well, students can't write until they understand sentences. And that is not true. Students can write from pictures and drawing, being able to spell and invent their words, in addition to, you know, express themselves even through art and journals. We should not stifle that. And just because something is not what we would call grammatically correct does not stifle the meaning of what someone is trying to say. And I, you know, if I had to give any advice to anyone today, particularly the principals, you know, let the children write. Let the writing classrooms write, and then explain to families and communities what this means. That it might mean that some of the words are misspelled. It might mean that, you know, some letters don't come out exactly right, but you want to get that creative juice going. I have a saying: if you want a child to learn how to write, then they got to write something down. If they don't write anything down, then you don't have anything to assess to help them learn more about writing. If you stifle that writing process just from the beginning, then you're more likely not to get much and very limited writing. So you have to expose students to types of reading, you know, just explore the world together, enjoy being with the students in the classroom. I love Gholdy Muhammad's work, right? Cultivating Joy. This idea of not being able to work in a school that has a lot of joy and laughter, you know, that makes me sad. I know that in America, sometimes we have a lot of testing going on, and there are lots of things that we have to do, but it does not have to be devoid of joy.
Yeah, that's right.
And students can put that in their writing. They can talk about things that matter to them. And then at the same time, you can still bring those skills in. So you have the personal writing, you have the individual writing, you can have the fiction and nonfiction writing. Just have students try all types of things, because you do want those creative juices to go. We don't want to have another Brother Kafele out there, but he can't bud because we told him that he couldn't do certain things.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So absolutely. And I got to give a shout out to Goldie for her work, cultivating joy, and her work about genius, because she looks at kids and she sees something in students that sometimes we forget, that they're bringing something to the table. They're not coming devoid of talent, of brilliance already. It's our job to figure it out and how to touch those particular students.
Absolutely. I was going to shout her out too, because she wrote an endorsement in this book. I think it's the first endorsement that's listed in the book. So again, for those of you that checked in late, Provost Perry, Sister Perry, is co-author of Teaching for Racial Equity. You can get it at Amazon, and get yourself a copy. And I call this a masterpiece. That's what it is, right? And then Goldie was on here. She blessed us with 2 hours of her time back in November of 2023. Sister Perry, this platform. Matter of fact, let me holler at the fam real quick. Fam, I got the mirror. Brought the mirror with me, and I want to say this to you. You're listening to what we're saying, and we're talking right now. We're talking classroom, but here you are, those instructional leaders, not just leader, but that instructional leader. Ask yourself, while I got the mirror up, what is it about your leadership? What is it about your practice? What is it about your coaching of teachers? What is it about your overall instructional leadership that writing process is being optimized in the classrooms of the teachers that you lead, the teachers that you supervise, the teachers that you evaluate? Who are you relative to the hopefully advantages that young people have in their classrooms as it relates to writing, not confined to a language arts environment, mathematics, science, social studies, right? Electives, PE, health, whatever it is. Who are you in that process? Is there a possibility that a youngster's ability to write is being stifled because of the teacher I'm assigned to, right? So the mirror always matters. And to that end, Sister Perry, I want to ask you this. Here we are, this leadership platform. And as everyone on here who's fam knows, I spend a lot of time talking about the instructional side of leadership, instructional coaching. And the analogy that I've been drawing lately is when a coach sends a team out onto a football field and says, let's go get this win. And then myself, meaning coach, and my assistants will be here in the locker room. If you need us, come get us, go out there and win. So now we're talking about a team that's not being coached in the process of a game. So here the analogy is teachers in classrooms, but never being coached. So I'm expected to become great on my own through other PD means, but no correlation between my supervisor and my outcomes as it relates to that relationship. So here's what I want to ask you. I want to go back to your teaching days again. And I want you to be brutally honest on this, as you've been. Can you say that you had a supervisor of record who served as an instructional coach, who facilitated the process of making you phenomenal as a middle school teacher? Or did you have to figure that out on your own?
You raise a really good question here. I think the spaces where I was the best, I had a leader who not only taught the talk, but walked the talk.
Mm.
So, for example, I had a leader who would come in and do demonstration lessons, right? And work with the students, or would come in with me and help do something in the classroom, right? So this idea of coaching and instructional coaching from your leader is very important. And it led to a modeling, so much so that I'd like to think that I took on some of those characteristics that I saw
Mm.
very visible. And then when that leader had a question about something, posing the question so that we could figure it out together. So
Mm.
not knowing everything, but being able to be a partner, a thinking partner in this process of figuring out what we need to do to make learning better. Um, I appreciated that instructional leader,
Mm.
and also some of the ladies and gentlemen that I worked with in the book. We had 6 teacher writers, and they talk about the teacher leaders who impact their lives, the ones who are, and we have very similar characteristics, the ones who are involved in the learning process, who come and visit, who help problem solve, who give ideas, who send to professional development, but also when you come back are very interested in what you learn, not just to give a workshop, but it really intimately care about what it is that you learned that will make the learning better, and that you can share it with other people in ways that can make a difference in the building. Because we can't afford always to send everybody sometimes, but what we can do is make a plan for us to be able to use it in our building and to learn. Um, I'm thinking about one principal in particular. She was really good at coming in and helping us figure things out. I love that idea because I want principals to know that your teacher leaders are your change agents in your building. That when they are empowered, they can present and bring ideas and make things actionable in the building that otherwise won't move forward if they're not empowered. And so how do you use a teacher leader, or how do you work with, or how do you partner with a teacher leader to make those instructional changes? And I saw an excellent model in the leaders that I had for that. And that it just was further enhanced by my work in NCTE and National Writing Project. I've got some amazing leaders with the writing project. So we work in different schools and we come together. But I've got a curriculum director, Jamaica Thomas, Dr. Thomas. We've got a leader in her school, Miss Sanjanika Henderson. I've got people we have about 300 leaders in the state who are teacher leaders who really care about teaching, not just writing, but really presenting good curriculum. But they've been empowered by the writing project, and they're building principals and superintendents to do the work. It's a team effort. It is a team effort. And I see that we have here Mr. Walker,
Yeah.
who's right here. I remember Mr. Walker when he was a student
Mm.
back in the day. you know. But when we empower a young man like Mr. Walker, then
Yeah.
he's able to go and walk the walk and talk that talk and pass it on. That principals really have gems and teachers who are on board to do the work to make those changes. And we can't forget that because they impact the students that then go on to make a difference. The book up at Teaching for Racial Equity also highlights teachers who are making a difference, but also students who make a difference and how they came to be. And they give advice to teachers about what needs to be done in order to help make effective curriculum. And one of them says, invite us to the conversation. Don't leave us out the conversation. We're young people who really want to make a difference. And this young lady, her name is Jordan Hudson, has her own website now, and shaping the culture. But that's one thing, that's what she's done to transform her learning, right? Her own website, and she's produced a film, but that's what we're talking about. We don't want to produce students who have information, but they never know how to use it.
Yeah.
We want to be able to have students who know how to use it, but we also want to have good instructional leaders who push all of us to be better, and teachers who are able to do that kind of work. I know time is an issue in classrooms, but I keep saying over and over again, if we don't do something different, will produce students who are not able to participate in the world.
Keena Walker is a strong brother. I'm glad to see him here, and he's also been on the platform. Yeah, good man. I've been knowing him for a minute now. Before I get to the talking points, I wanted to share one more thing. You being provost, you being vice president at Miles College, HBCU in Fairfield, Alabama, you indicated that you're a tireless advocate for students and educators who are often denied a voice. I want to share that with the fam one more time. A tireless advocate for students and educators who are often denied a voice. The word advocate is one of my words. I think I use it 100% of the time when I speak. I know I'll be using it today here in Bowie. And when I say it, I'm saying as an advocate, that means the translation is you are someone who fights. You are a fighter. And in this case, a fighter for young people. And I ask folks with the mirror, can your mirror sincerely say to you that the person looking back is a fighter, an advocate for children, right? So we got this leadership audience watching. And I'm sure that there are teachers in here as well. And a lot of the teachers that watch, they're aspiring leaders. I want you to share with us being a tireless advocate for children. From the vantage point, and I'm going to use your title on this one, Provost Tonya B. Perry. What does that look like? Because the advocate, someone could be afraid of that word, given the politics of the district they work in, right? Fighter, someone could be afraid of that word, given the politics of the district they work in. From your vantage point, what does that mean? And let me add a piece on this. I guess I'm asking you to give a lecture. And what would be your advice to somebody to ensure that when they go into that school to lead, despite the politics of the district, the politics of the community, how do I sustain my advocacy for the children that I lead?
You said something the other day. I don't know if it was 208 or session 209 or session 207, but you said something that really resonated with me that I think it really sums up about being an advocate. You talked about what is your foundation.
Yeah.
You talked about what is your foundation, and we talk about what is your foundation as a theoretical framework also, because you've got to figure out where you stand, because the winds will blow and times will change and politics will happen. But what do you stand for? What's your foundation? So with that, I'm going to give you back your words about what that foundation is. I also look at the work of Yolanda Seeley Ruiz, and it's in our book, talks about racial literacy framework, but the foundation there is love. Critical love.
Yeah.
And that is my foundation, right? When we talk about advocacy, when we're talking about giving voice, when it's saying doing what's right, right? Treating people with care. What does that look like, right? So advocacy is really about digging in and figuring out what is it that helps students and makes things right? And that's what equity is about. What is it that I can do to help this student as an individual, and what will help make things right? So when we take a look at all of this together, I got to say that there are different steps, but one of the first things, or at least one of the most powerful things that has to happen, is that you've got to have love, and that you've got to do some deep digging. Because when you get ready to do advocacy work, you got to figure out what's your purpose behind doing this work, why you do this work, and be able to, I'd say, even make a sticky note for yourself about it, because it won't be easy. But I have to say, my president, Bobby Knight of my HBCU, is an excellent example of doing what's right and being an advocate for students. And I've worked with some amazing people across my lifespan who've done that as well. Brother Kafele, I also want to go back to one other thing, which is my father was an advocate. I'm from a very rural area in North Carolina, but my father was an advocate. He was a math teacher, right? And my mom was a music teacher, but they were both community activists in their own way. and doing what's right. I grew up with advocacy. I grew up in a community that promoted advocacy. I grew up in even a larger community, a school community that advocated for advocacy and doing what's right. And I think it was just kind of passed on. My father created a newspaper called the Afro Chronicle.
Oh,
Yeah, as a math teacher, along with 5 other Black men. And they created this newspaper because there was no voice in the community for our community. The larger newspaper it did not publish some of the things that we felt were critical. So they got together and they created a newspaper
wow.
so that our community would have voice. And that's what I'm saying to you. What is it that you believe in? It's that love of community for my father and the other men who were with him that really resonated with me and with them. Because with you've got critical love, you really think deeply about what is it that I need to do in order to make a difference. That is your foundation. And sometimes people do things like make decisions, but are they really truly, Brother Kafele, based in love?
Mm-hmm.
Are they? Yeah.
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 I love.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
No, I thought I misunderstood. I thought you said, "Can I ask you a question?" That's what I said. Yes. No, no, okay. So, let's go to these talking points. I'm still struggling with my phone a little bit, but we get through it. We getting through it. We getting through it. Here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna put this on the screen, and you indicated you posed this one as a question. Why is leading for racial equity important to me? And I'm tended to jump in here and give my own 2 cents, but I'm not going to because of time. I just want to turn it over to you, and we'll just turn it over to you as the question that you wrote. Why is no? Let me ask you this way: what is racial equity first, and then tell us why is it important?
Well, I think we've been talking about it all along, probably informally, but the idea here is having each student see him, her, themselves in their learning, right? And when we have students who are Black students or Latinx students or Asian students or any of our students, we want them to be able to see who they are. I know that in your book, when the Equity and Social Justice Education 50, you talk about students being able to see themselves, and that while racial equity is so important because none of our students are alike, it's not a monolithic group, right? And when we deny seeing students, then we deny their identity. And what we want to do is see them for who they are, not ignore who they are or lump them all together. I don't think there's such a thing as not seeing color. I think part of our race and ethnicity makes us beautiful, whoever we are, right? And we have to acknowledge that because that helps us see student better as an individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in these places, Sister Perry. And you may have heard me say this before because I speak on it pretty regularly that I've got clients and I never experienced this until post May 25, 2020, the date of the murder of George Floyd. It impacted us in education, as education consultants, but just overall education. And now I get folks from a lot of states, typically red states, who will request that I mention nothing about equity. So like my topic may not be equity, but I think I have a reputation now that I'll infuse it into any topic. So they'll ask me, could you make sure that you refrain from the usage of the word equity? Could you refrain from equity? Well, I can refrain from the usage of the word equity and talk equity and get a glowing evaluation and a standing ovation because people are stuck on a word, right? But when you go deeper, when you start peeling back the layers, this word that people are stuck on, they have no inclination as to what it means, even if it's a wrong definition. They don't know what it is. Because I'll say, well, what is equity to you? I'm sitting right on this computer having that pre-meeting. What do you mean when you say equity? I just want to gain understanding so we could be on the same page. And they sitting up there looking at me like I asked them some scientific question that they could never answer. I'm saying, see, you don't even know what this is. You don't want me to talk about. See, all they know is that the politics of the district. So let's have a conversation about this, because at the end of the day, we're talking about the individuality of those students in the classroom. right? We're talking about the racial, cultural, ethnic identity of those children in the classroom. We're talking about the voice of those children in the classroom. We're talking about meeting young people right there where they are, as opposed to treating them as if they were this monolithic classroom where we're all the exact same and we're going to receive this lesson the exact same way. So for me, there's no way around racial equity. There's no way around gender equity. There's no way around cultural equity. Equity matters. And someone like yourself, who's been in this business for a long time, I'm willing to bet you tell me if I'm wrong, you were equitable before that became a part of your vocabulary in the education space, because that wasn't always part of the lexicon. So here I'm teaching in '88. That's when I started. I wasn't saying equity. But when equity became a thing in like 2012-ish, somewhere around there, like here comes this thing, I'm like, okay, that's who I've been. So now I'll just keep talking about it, but I'll affix this word equity to it. That's all. So now let me get off the soapbox, acting like I ain't got a keynote today. Let me throw this, let me throw this. They probably over there like, I hope Kafele gonna make it, right? So
You're gonna make it. You're gonna make it.
So here's my question. How does that person that's on this thread right now with us, or not on the thread, but on the other side of my camera, who's rocking with you all session, what do you say to this person who's Sister Perry, I want to be everything you said as it relates to equity, but I want to stay employed. And I want to keep certain pressures off my back. I want to enjoy what I do. I want to love life. How do I be this equitable practitioner with a focus on ensuring that that racial equity is a part of who I am, my foundation, if you will. But if I do, I might be on the outside looking in. What you got for that person? Because I know that person's on the thread.
You know, my co-writers, Steve Zemelman and Katie Smith, as well as the teacher writers, we've been asking ourselves this the whole time, right? You know, how do we do this work, particularly when the climate is a little difficult, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things is that go back to your foundation. If your foundation is critical love, if your foundation is making sure that students get the type of education that they deserve and they need, then there's no way you can't be an equity warrior, because you're going to have to give the students what they need to be successful. And that means seeing them as individuals. So seeing them as individuals and meeting them where they are, as you've just said, is a part of what good teaching is. It's good. It's also a part of good instructional leadership. What is it that teachers can do? What can we do? I don't know, Brother Kafele, if it looks any different than it did 30 years ago. Like I said, I think the word is scary, but what does a good teacher do? A good teacher allows students to write about him or herself in their lives, tell their stories. A good teacher figures out how to work with students and use what they have in their own lives to make a concept, come to life, right?
Yep.
You know, then being able to know the student, and then taking the student's identity and taking it another step. A good teacher allows students to ask questions and not be afraid of their teacher, and then and be afraid of what kinds of questions are going to come out, right? I'm not really sure that that's any different. I'm really not. I know the word is out there, but this idea of ignoring who students are, I can't see that being part of good learning.
Yeah.
And so we have some things in the book where we just talk about what is it that makes good teaching for students. And one is, even you can even talk about it. Let's go to literature, something you read. You can give students what we call kind of these equity questions. You know, when you read something, did this person do the right thing? Yes or no? You could say, did this person give up too easily? Did this person fight for this other person, this character? Did this person really stand up or have justice for a person? Or did this person drop the ball? I mean, you can do this through character development. You can do this through anything that you read in the news, right? You can pick out nonfiction, So kids can have this idea of seeing themselves and then being able to look at other things, even articles, to see what happened here. What happened here? Where was the ball dropped when this article could be related to George Floyd. Where was the ball drop? What could have stopped this? What does this mean in our community? Is this something that we would have done in our community, or is this something that we have left to happen? It could be in any issue, but we have to teach students to think critically and have a consciousness about them. And I think that can occur anywhere. There is no way that we can be good teachers in mathematics, science, history, language arts, reading. We cannot be in psychology. How are we going to teach if we're devoid of the world and the people in it?
Devoid of the world and the people in it. And you know, the first thing you said when I asked that question, you summed it up. You said equity is just good teaching. And I literally say that every day. I probably use the word great. Equity is great teaching. That's all it is. Hey, client, why wouldn't you want great teaching? Great teaching ensures that each of the youngsters, there's a word that I've been refraining from since 2020, and the word is all. Because I feel that when we talk about all, there are students in the all conversation who can become obscure. So when I say each, now I'm holding into account every one of them youngsters in that room, right? So I just like that word each so much more than I like the word all. And because it allows me to individualize that classroom, that school, that district, whatever it is. But the point being raised is that each youngster has an equitable opportunity to maximize their potential in that classroom. That's the bottom line. And that's what you said, the first thing you said, right? It's just good teaching, right? Let's go. So secondly, you said establishing clarity and purpose for the work. I think that's a powerful statement. It's probably a book, right? It's certainly a whole day workshop or a week long, whatever it is. But what are you saying to us as one of those areas of passion for you and your work?
You know, once again, I think we've been talking about this the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you know, the idea of why you're doing this work. Why is equity work important to you? And like we keep saying, you don't have to call it equity. Is why you can call it, why is it that I need to have this type of teaching where every student feels like an individual and that is an individual and is included in my classroom? How is it that they fit into my classroom? What am I doing to help them fit into the classroom culture? And how can I do this in a way instructionally that will help them become better? That's what it is. And it's that love.
Yeah, that love. So let's let me get that back up here. Wrong button. See, housekeeping's here. I hate that, man. I tell these people that I'm here extended time, and 100% of the time they're gonna still bang on my door. I'm gonna ignore them. Then they're gonna open the door and they're gonna get scared. But here we go. Establishing clarity and purpose for the work. I want to take that word purpose in another direction. In addition to what you said.
Sure.
When I walked into that classroom, when I did, and you walked into that classroom, and when you did, I didn't go in, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this as it relates to you. I didn't go in generically that I want to be a teacher, right? That wasn't literally, it wasn't even on my radar. When I became a principal, it wasn't a thing. I want to be a principal and I want to be effective, right? I want to be a teacher and I want to be effective. No, that's this. It's very macro. I walked in here with this. As much as I loved, and I'll keep saying that word, love my girls, right? My girls were not my why, my purpose. I was going to take care of business for them. Make no mistake about it. I don't think there's a young lady out here in the world now that reflects back on Kafele and says this man didn't have our best interests at heart. I just don't believe that. But I'm looking at the challenge as it relates to my boys, couched in the various data, including the isms that got them there because they become victims. So I said, I'm going into this building to teach these kids because I'm gonna prove to these boys, I'm gonna prove to this school, I'm gonna prove to this city, New York, or first the Brooklyn, the borough of Brooklyn, the city of New York, the United States, the world, what Black boys are capable of achieving when they got the right one in their midst. Not right one meaning right Black male, just right one in their midst. That was my purpose for the work. And then when I became a principal 10 years later, my purpose for the work had not changed one iota. So what I'm asking you, as it relates to the second part of that talking point, the purpose for the work. What was your purpose then? And has it shifted? I know it has evolved because you've grown. But is whatever that purpose was, is it still at your core? Because mine is.
Absolutely. You know, my purpose for the work has always been to help the students who are probably the most underrepresented, sometimes most misunderstood, um, students to be able to have an opportunity to be great. That has always been my purpose. So whatever I can do to best undergird all of my students, but in particularly my students who are underrepresented, I've always been able to dedicate my time and my resources to make sure that they have those opportunities to grow. Let me also say that even though I'm at Miles College and we are an open enrollment school, so our students come to us from different places. Most of them are first generation.
Mm,
And the students who come to our institution deserve the best that we can give them. And as their provost, I try to instill that into the faculty and the staff that we have, that my purpose for doing this work should also be a shared purpose, that we give our students, some of the most unrepresented students coming from different groups, the opportunity to be great. We don't shortcut. We give them everything that we have. And I think that that's important to do when we're doing this work. Just like your dedication to Black boys and all students, but particularly making sure that they're taken care of. I do have a special place for making sure that underrepresented youth and young adults have opportunities.
yeah, I love it. I love it. You know, I'm looking at this time. Um, Here's what we're gonna do. This is to the fam. Now, I already talked to Sister Perry about we're gonna do a part two. So we're gonna schedule a date because we're according to my notes, we're nowhere near finished. I got to do a keynote today, y'all. That's why I'm in a hotel. I got to do a keynote at 1 o'clock Eastern. I got to drive. I got to prepare, and it's 12:15 already. So what I want to do, I still want to do my rapid fire BAM impact questions. I think you know what those are. Those are these 20 questions where it's just one sentence answer, no commas, or one word answer, but they're going to come at you quick. You all set?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Is education on the right path for underserved children in America?
No,
Are you optimistic about the educational prospects for the masses of Black and Brown students in America?
I'm hopeful. With the right resources, I think we can get where we need to go. I am hopeful.
Can true equity occur in America's schools for Black and Brown and other underserved students?
Yes, but we've got to do some work.
Does Provost Tonya Perry's work contribute to the progress we desperately need?
I sure hope so.
If you could do a reset on your life, would your line of work be different or the same?
Absolutely the same.
Why do you continue to do this work?
Have a passion to make a difference for our children. I think we have to invest in them, and I think we all have to play our part.
What particularly fires you up within the work that you do?
Being able to see students achieve things that they never thought were possible because we provided those opportunities gives me great joy, Brother Kafele.
What do you absolutely love about this work?
The joy and energy it brings and the joy and energy it can give.
What do you dislike about the work you do?
Lack of resources to do the work the way I'd like to have it done.
What has been your greatest victory in this work?
Being able to see the students succeed in a way, when they first entered, they felt like they had no hope. But it's been great joy to see them refueled, filled through different processes, and see them succeed. You know, it's nothing like seeing somebody cross that stage who thought that would never happen.
Yeah. What has been your greatest mistake in this work?
Waiting too long to get to a point where I really understood it better. I started off, I don't know about many of you, but I have to pray for my first class when I started teaching. You know, there was so much I didn't know. I
Yeah.
did the best I could, but
Yeah.
I'm glad I came to understand the work better.
My first class, just the thought haunts me because I knew I wasn't what I became, but I'm still in touch with some of them. This is 1988, and they tell me, "No, you were a rock star," all that kind of stuff. So, but I knew I could. But I was a baby. What's been your greatest challenge in this work?
I have to say, sustaining resources, right? You know, something needs to be done, and it might go under unfunded after a period of time, or you know you need more resources to get something done, um, but it takes time, particularly in a particular this particular climate when it comes to work around equity. You know, being able to have the resources for families and for students too, so that they could be successful.
Absolutely. Who inspires you in your work?
Got to give a shout out to my parents, right? My father passed away in 2006, but he's still an influence in my life. And my mother, got to give a shout out to them, but I got to give it out to my mentors too. You know, Dr. Lynn Kirkland, Dr. Lucretia Collins, uh,
Mm,
Dr. Melvin Love is my colleague in this work, as well as people I work with at my institution now at Miles College who go in every day with this work. You know, I got to give a shout out to all of them. I
yeah,
wouldn't be who I am today without the mentors and my colleagues all the way around.
I love it. I love it. What are you reading right now? Book, blog, tweet, article, anything?
Well, this book called The Equity and
Oh,
Social Justice Education 50. You know who that is?
I met him a couple times.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. What book would you recommend for our viewers this afternoon?
um, you know, as I work more on instruction, I'm looking at Race, Justice, and Activities and Literacy Instruction by Valerie Kinlock.
Okay.
Um, Also looking at Cultivating Joy by Goldie. Um, Also looking at some work by Martez Fowles at the University of Pitt. He's an up and coming scholar.
Mm,
Look at some of his work.
good stuff. Y'all heard it. If you missed it, rewind when we finish. What do you want to accomplish that you haven't accomplished yet?
That's an excellent question. I think I would um, like to continue writing, Brother Kafele,
Hmm.
being able to continue to do the research, and I want to take a crack at really being successful at retaining students from underrepresented populations, so they can be successful in the secondary and post-secondary schools.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Are you satisfied with where you are professionally right now?
I am.
Are you what could you say to a viewer out there who's faced closed doors?
Don't give up. That even when it looks bleak, you never know what God has in store. You got to stay the course, and remember your foundation, and remember, keep doing what's right.
What could you say to a viewer out there who's lost their fire?
Um, I would say find your community, find the people who believe in you, who are doing the work. I have my writing project teachers who fuel me. I wouldn't be the same without them. I have the writers in this book, my co-writers, NCTE, National Writing Project. I have my community. I have my church. You know, I have my sorority. I have a group of sisters. I have a lot of people who circle me, and I would not be the same if I did not have that group. You know, it's something about the love you get from a group of people that when you lose your fire, they'll have a flame for you that they can share. And
Yeah,
that's what you want.
love it, love it. Last one. If Tonya B. Perry was a word in a dictionary, what would be your definition?
Tonya B. Perry, love, persistence, and resilience. It would be synonymous with keeping it going, even when the times are tough.
Love it. Love it. This was a powerful conversation, but like I said, I'm gonna be in touch with you like within a day to I got to get that part 2 in. But to the fam out there, you know how we do. To the ones who are new to the platform, you wouldn't know yet, but we celebrate, we applaud our guests with the emojis. So that's why so many of them are showing up now. So all 3 platforms, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, hit us up with those emojis if you feel that this conversation was beneficial to you, if it added value to your work, if it resonated with you, if you can use it, if it was just a good way to spend your Saturday morning. Let us know. As I see all those emojis, and you know I bring my little joint when I'm on the road, my little baseball bat, man. I'm wearing my Baltimore Elite Giants. I wore this shirt about a month ago, but since I'm in Bowie, Maryland, I said, and I'm gonna do a keynote. I said, let me rock something this local. So we wore it again, right? But you hit it out the park, bam, grand slam. Every time you went to bat, 16 runs in, great stuff. The book, Teaching for Racial Equity, Becoming Interrupters, by Tonya B. Perry and the 2 other co-authors. Go to Amazon, get yourself a copy. I'm calling this book a masterpiece. This is a phenomenal book. It's a phenomenal read. And if you're in one of them districts and they don't want this word equity, you're going to find how to navigate that right in this book. You don't have to say equity, just be equitable, right? That's all you got to do, right? You don't have to mention the word, just be equitable in the process. Sister Perry, how do these folks reach you? How does the fam reach you if they want to bring you out to do the full day seminar, to do the keynote, to do whatever kind of presentations that you do?
You know, that's a good question. LinkedIn is probably the best way to get hold of me.
So it's time to get that website going. So, but go ahead. That's what I say to everybody when they tell me that, man. Time to get the website going.
Absolutely. But LinkedIn is the best way to get me, Tonya Perry. I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm tied to Miles College. And that's the best way probably to get hold of me.
All
Or you
right.
can message me on Facebook. That's another way. And I could tell you X, I could tell you Instagram, but I don't check them as much. And the best way is probably LinkedIn and Facebook. So thank you. I appreciate you. And I know you're going to knock it out the park today.
Yeah, we're gonna give them a little something, right? But once again, y'all, Teaching for Racial Equity. Get your hands on this. Just go to Amazon, take the book to #1 on whatever category that it's in. I'm glad I got my copy, right? Other than that, Sister Perry, stay here for me when I go off, right? So we can talk offline. Hey, fam, appreciate you being here. Today's a milestone. The milestone is this is the last day of year 3. Our 4th anniversary, or should I say the last day of year 4. We going into year 5, right? So this is the last day of year 4. Next Saturday, I'm going solo. I don't know why I put my phone away. I still need it. We're going solo. I'm going to celebrate the 4th anniversary, week number 210. I'm going buck wild, man. I'm bringing energy. I'm bringing enthusiasm. I'm bringing excitement. I'm bringing passion. I'm bringing drive. I'm bringing determination. I'm bringing information, right? So join me. Tell somebody. This is a big deal. 210 consecutive sessions, right? 4 years. Now the next Saturday after that will be the start of year 5, when this was supposed to be only 18 weeks. I was only doing it for 18 weeks. The first Saturday in May 2020 until the last Saturday in August 2020. But it was so many of y'all that were tuning in. I said, why would I stop this? So I kept it going. I didn't think I was going to do it consecutive for 4 years, but I did, right? And as I keep telling y'all, when I was in Cancun, when I had Zaretta Hammond on, they said, you got to pay for that Wi-Fi. Right? You need at least 10 gigabytes, $100 a gigabyte. I gave them $1,000, but I needed a room that was not on the same line as the guest. Another $300. I paid $1,300 to interview Zaretta Hammond. But so be it. So be it. Right? I pay hundreds of dollars when I'm in Jamaica. So be it. Right? So because the bottom line is, I'm just trying to play my narrow part in making the world a better place. And if we all play our narrow part, you here, world becomes better. I'm just doing my part, right? So with that said, y'all, Make sure that you keep watching Super Saturday, 10 o'clock, Sean Hurt, 10:30, Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor with Create and Educate, me at 10:55. Once Josh is back online, we go back to Fantastic Four. So we're waiting for that. Make sure that you subscribe to the AP and New Principals Academy YouTube channel, right? You can watch all 209 sessions there. They're all there. Subscribe to it so you get the notifications. Like and follow the AP and New Principals Academy Facebook page. That's where I write my Sunday morning commentary. Am I going to write one tomorrow? I don't know, y'all. I'm sleep deprived this week, but we'll see. Sometimes the spirit moves me. Make sure that you register for the School Leadership Institute with Principal Kafele, July 9 and 10. I'll be in Houston 2 days, 2 big days. I want to see you in the building. We're going to be talking leadership with a focus on instructional leadership. What is my value to the teachers that I supervise instructionally? Join me in Houston. And then join me at the Black Educators Rock Conference, July 18 through the 21st. You know my books. I ain't got to say the titles. If you don't know them, go to Amazon, put in Baruti Kafele, Baruti Kafele, and all my books will show up on the thread. And then lastly, make sure that you take care of yourselves, right? Eat right. I can't say I did that very good this week, but I will when I get home, because I'm not going anywhere for a month except that one day, May 17, because Shannon Sharp's on the program. So I said, I'm coming to that because I want to have a chance to have a couple minutes with Shannon Sharp, right? Hopefully that's going to happen because we're going to be on the same program. So other than that, I'm going to be home writing that book. So I know my wife going to be hooking me up. She's on here right now. I know my wife going to take care of me with the meals, man. So I'm going to be good back, not this slop that I've been eating when I'm on the road, right? Except yesterday. I know I got to do this keynote. I was at this restaurant right over across the street, man, this seafood spot. See, I'm in Maryland. This ain't the crab cakes you get in Jersey. They got all the fluff inside. This was just crab meat, man. I'm like, whoa, just crab meat. Then I got the crab soup. Oh, man, this wasn't like Red Lobster. You get like a little piece of meat. The whole soup was crab meat. I ain't gonna tell y'all the name of it because I don't remember the exact name, but it's right around by this Hampton Inn in Bowie, right? So y'all gotta check this, but it ain't nothing but crab meat, man. No fluff. Every forkful was just crab meat. I might have to make a detour and come back there before I go to the airport this afternoon. Other than that, y'all, appreciate you being here. I'll see you next Saturday at 10:55, right? Solo. Celebrating 4th anniversary of the AP and New Principals Academy. Have a great week. Have an extraordinary week. Have your best week yet. Peace. Peace. Thumbs up. Cock that fist back. 1, 2, 3. Bam. I'll see y'all next Saturday.